Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about my new project, my second build of the league. It is technically the third if we count in the Infernal Blow League startup, but since the Infernal Blow got converted into the Arc Ignite, which then finished my league start, I'm going to count in the Arc Ignite as my first build, and this would be the second. So whenever they released tattoos in Path of Exile with the Trial of the Ancestors, there was one specific one that I was looking out for, and this is the +1 to melee strike range, which basically converts one of your small strength nodes to +1 melee strike range. And basically I said, bro, I want to play good old Legion Cyclone. And for those of you who didn't play Legion, back in the days, that is when melee got hilariously buffed and never buffed again, basically, or just straight up nerfed. But let me quickly pull up the second stream Legion Cyclone, just to give you a showcase how Cyclone looked like back in the days. Okay, second 5-way carry. God, preparation should have been better. Here we go. This is my back in Legion League 5 emblem carry. This was the go-to build for doing 5 ways, and as you see just from the start, this was a headhunter build, just purely self-curse temp chain stuff. But as you see just in the start of the video, how big Cyclone actually is, and this is just the startup. Once I start killing monsters and gaining buffs, as you see here, the outer circle, this is Cyclone. So Cyclone was that insanely big that at some point when you stacked enough AoE, your Cyclone radius was bigger than your actual screen, and that's why Cyclone was remembered as like the most, or one of the most broken skills back in the days. So got hilariously buffed, and what's left was like a very small Cyclone. But once they said, yo, we're gonna put in melee strike range tattoos and you can stack them, and I'm currently running 25 melee strike range tattoos, gives you like quite a bit of AoE. And now you would say like, yo, wait a second, this is +1 melee strike range, Cyclone is not a strike skill. That is true, but Cyclone has a certain line in the blue text over here. It says 8% increased area of effect per 1 additional melee strike range. So this build is a Slayer Cycloner stacking as many melee strike ranges as possible, getting a good amount of AoE, and just here in town without any buffs, without anything. This is my Cyclone range at the moment. It's not as close to be a Legion Cyclone, but it is a very respectable Cyclone range, and we are not even done with the stacking. This is pretty much the... yeah, I would say the turning into a middle tier of a Cyclone character, having some good items like the Death Rush, an Abyssus with Berserk Enchant, a self-crafted weapon that I will go over, but we're still having like a Tabby, a Praxis Ring, a Res belt, and some... I think I bought them for like 8 chaos or something, just anything that gives him resistance, because it's not that easy to get resistance on this character. I'm not even like lightning res capped at the moment, but this is not like a build guide video. This is more like a showcase of what is planned, what I'm working on, and give you guys an idea what this build might look like. But before we go into the map showcase, I want to talk about the reasoning of Cyclone, okay? I mean, for me, there's either 2 ways to go at it. Either you say like, I don't care about my character, I don't care about defense, I don't care about damage, all I want is the biggest Cyclone ever. You can do that, and you would probably get a radius of like maybe 55, maybe 60, which is like 20 more than my current version. It is already pretty big. But then you have absolutely no damage, no survivability whatsoever. So the other way that I decided to do is making a good Cyclone character while trying to stack as max AoE as possible. Because at some point, diminishing returns kicks in, and the more AoE you get, the less effective it's gonna be. So I tried to get a good amount of AoE to get like a really good feeling for Cyclone, and then stack defense and damage to have like an overall good character that feels good and not only looks good, right? And therefore, there is also like 2 Cyclone builds that come here into my mind, which I remember as being strong Cyclone characters. This is either a staff-based Shockwave Cyclone that I played, I think, last league, and a Voidforge Cycloner. So Voidforge, in my opinion, well, best suited with a replica Pharaoh's Fur. But when I started this character, we have currently a playtime of 23 hours, so I started this character like 2 or 3 days ago. The Void Forge was about 17 divines starting price. The replica Pharaoh was like 10 divines, so that would be like a 27 divines without even linking the character, and so on and so forth. And that's why I decided to go with a staff version, because it has a way lower entrance cost, you know. I'm not saying that this is gonna be a budget build, no way, because melee builds on a low budget kind of suck. Maybe there's Bone Shatter, but this is like the way Bone Shatter works. The longer you hit the enemy, the more damage you generate. But for the classic melee character, budget is kind of like not that good. And on top of that, if you would go the Cyclone, like the Void Forge route, you're more likely to go to the right side, because you have here the frenzy charges, you have here like insane what do you say, sword nodes, and then here the sword nodes. So you would go from middle to the right side. But what I need is small strength nodes, so I can convert them into the melee strike range. And the staff nodes are on the left side. So that's why I said, you know what, staff makes more sense, lower entrance fee, and I get all the strength nodes, because all the staff nodes are on the top side over here. Here is more staff nodes. So I'm gonna be located on the left side, meaning a lot of like small little strength nodes that I can convert into the strike range. And at the moment, I'm still having 200 strength left, even though I converted every single strength node that I could find on the tree to get to the melee strike range. As I said, 25 at the moment in total. So I would say let's run a map, and then we can talk about the gearing and how everything should maybe go together. This is a bit of a scuffed version, because I already purchased my next upgrade, which is this chest over here, that will make me be able to get rid of the Praxis, get rid of the belt, it's like a chain reaction of upgrades basically. But what I needed is the minus mana cost on my chest, so I can have Cyclone as a free skill basically. I cannot do that right now, so that's why I'm wearing the Praxis ring, which has a -8 total mana cost of skill, so my Cyclone is free. But I also purchased an Enlightened support, so I'm able to get my last aura in, but therefore I had to reset my precision, and that's why I'm only having like 89% hit chance. There is a lot of min-maxing. It's not only about AoE, it's about tankiness, it's about damage, it's about hit chance, impel chance, all these good things, mana cost even. I think I'm gonna run the majority of my spells, like here my Assassin's Mark, with life tap, for example, because there's no way I'll be able to afford the mana cost for actually applying the curses overall, because every time you apply those curses you have to pay the mana cost. So I guess I'm gonna end up playing all my totems, everything that is not Cyclone gonna be played with life tap, and then life tap, basically the minus mana cost chest for making Cyclone free, so I have absolutely no cost and I can reserve 100% of my mana cost. I need a high level precision or any other item that has like a good amount of accuracy on it, because you kind of want to aim for like somewhere between 95 and 100% hit chance to make things go good. So we're gonna start here with a cemetery map with the traditional way that I've been playing the past couple of days. There is a video about my farming strategy, which is Legion Expedition, but this was mainly for the Arc character, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna run with the Cyclone. I think it's gonna be something like Delirium, Crimson Temples, or so on. So we are using the good old Kame Spirit Gloves. We are having Overleech, and I have another tattoo that is quite nice, which is this one over here, which has 80% increased maximum total life recovery per second from Leech, which basically means kind of Val Pact without a downside, but you need to allocate 7 adjacent passive skills, and I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one is an AoE node. This is a strength node for 1+ melee strike range. The only thing that's kind of wasted would be the int node, but I also need the int node so I can get mana reservation efficiency on the other small int node. So there is a lot of min-maxing, but let's check out the build. So basically, typical Cyclone playstyle. We run in, we Cyclone, and yeah, I think it feels like pretty fucking good right now. We're running about, I think with my Val totems up, I'm having about 10 mil DPS or something like that, so it starts to be a build. The white areas that you see, this is actually the shockwave support that only works like with staff, so that's why I think that this one is a good combination over the Void Forge build. I generally think, without PUBing, I think that the Void Forge build has more potential because of the conversion, but it will be a lot more expensive as well. I remember in Sanctum League, I did try, what was it? An Omniscience Void Forge replica Pharaoh's build, and I completely ran out of currency, even though I spent like over 100 divines and I couldn't even figure out the basics of the build yet. So That's why I said I remember it was like ridiculously expensive. So do we get an acceleration shrine? We don't have acceleration shrine. But we are kind of fast, and if you're wondering, am I using an inspired learning or headhunter? No, I do not. This is a res belt, and I do not have an inspired learning. The reason why I'm having so many buffs is because of like all kinds of charges. We are generating frenzy charges, power charges, endurance charges. We have the arena challenger charges. We do have onslaught. We have what is it? Adrenaline. We have all kinds of like whatever buffs. So that's why my buffs here is like so insanely long. So it's not headhunter infused. It's not an inspired learning. It's just omega many buffs that I get from like killing monsters. And yeah, so what about the tankiness of the build? Is this build tanky? I would say we're getting on the point where we start to get tanky. Obviously, we only have like 3k life right now. But overall, I plan to get like somewhere around 5k, I would say, with things like Overleech, with Fortify permanently up, with Berserk, which gives you less damage taken. We do have Overleech, and with the tattoo, basically almost double Overleech. And it really feels like, or starts to feel like, a good build. As I said, there is some things that still have to be fixed, like, as I said, hit chance, what is it? Impale chance, and all these kind of things to make a build feel good. A build is always like a puzzle, and we're currently, we got the borders fixed, and now we can at some point like see what the picture is gonna look like, but obviously there is much more work to do. But overall, I'm really enjoying this build. Back to the roots, like good old Cyclone Slayer, Pure Fist, Impale, that almost nobody plays, so a lot of these items are like super cheap. For example, my Watcher's Eye. So if you remember in the past, I would say +2 Impale Watcher's Eye was usually about, let's say, like a 10-15 divine starting price, right? And this one here that I got, which has what was it, Impale +2 and life recovery rate with vitality, so better rage sustain. This was 1.5 divines. I think like only the Impale stat goes for, yeah, like 1.5 divines, so I got this second mod basically for free. So the gear is affordable, but I'm not saying this is gonna be a budget build, just saying. So, Legion clear was there. I don't want to level my gems because I need to figure out, since I upgraded my chest already. But I didn't want to show that in this video because the chest cost me 30 divines. And I want to showcase that the majority of the time I was playing with the exact setup that I have over here. Even less actually, because I only had an Enlighten level 3. And if I put away the Enlighten, I just have to like deactivate my Herald of Purity. So that was the majority of the stuff that I ran, which is Vitality, Dread Banner, Determination with Precision and Blood and Sand. And after a while, once I spec'd into the top notes over here, I was able to get Pride in as well. So the next point would be high level Enlighten, get Herald of Purity going, but then still trying to get as many mana reservation efficiency as possible to be able to get Precision to a certain level where we basically get to 100% hit chance, which is not that easy. Especially since I don't want to really use skill points as well. I have here one accuracy cluster, and this one, the mastery, dexterity accuracy bonus instead grants 3 to accuracy rating per dexterity. Gives me actually like 4% hit chance or something. So that's probably a skill point worth using. So what else can I say about the build? As I said, we are Slayer, we have Overleech. We double the Overleech with the tattoo of the Kitava Makanga, or at least like almost double it. I think basic was 1.2k, now it's like 2k or something. We are using a staff Staff is actually really good. First of all, we have the Overload Mastery, which gives me melee hits with maces, scepter, or staves 45 for 6 seconds, so I don't need to use a tattoo with 45. Then on the top side here, there's 30% increased defense as we are stacking armor, so that's pretty good. We also have a bunch of like crit multi-notes, as well as gain endurance charge on melee critical strike. We do hit like, I don't know, like 15 times per second with Cyclone, so getting the endurance charges up is quite massive. Another good thing about staff is the Cyclone, the shockwave support, which basically gives us like AoE things, and the majority of my damage actually comes from the, from Cyclone, but the shockwave support actually does its job as well, like off-screening monsters and so on. On top of that, I'm running one Devastator, which says enemies killed with attacks have 50% chance to explode, leaving a tenth of their life as physical. So we have some Explodey with Omega Big AoE, we have the Shockwave Cyclone, so it starts to feel really, really goddamn good, and I hope that this journey will continue the way it started, basically. As I said, many things to do, and we're gonna see where this is gonna work out. I think I'm not planning to play anything like Headhunter Mageblood or anything like that. I want to have a solid, good build that has a lot of AoE with the most quality of life, and then see how good and how fast we can get. And I think once I upgrade to like Tailwind, Onslaught, Elusive Boots, kind of those kind of things, we're gonna hit like somewhere like maybe 300% movement speed with Berserk on, without any influences of like Omega Giga items. Good. Today, another day of grinding. More currency needs to be farmed. We currently have like a 5 divines here. And yeah, we're just gonna keep on grinding, keep farming currency, upgrade as we go, and go step by step on this character. My weapon, for example, is an Eventuality Rod, which is like the best damaging staff over here. Has currently 670 DPS. What I did is I was just spamming Jagged Fossil until I hit something useful. I have here T6 Flat, T1 Fist, T6 Hybrid, Multimod with attack speed and critical strike chance. So it is not bad, but I easily spent, I don't know, like 15 divines on this one just because it took like 3,000 fusings to link. And honestly, you should go and buy a staff, which is a lot better. So even if I say, hey, I want to have an Eventuality Rod with at least 700 Fizz DPS, as I said, mine is like 670, we are starting at 5 divines. You know, this is unlinked, so we go down to a linked one. But doesn't matter. If you buy this one for 5 divines and just link it, you're gonna be like half the price of what I tried. But I just like sitting in hideout and just spam forces. I don't know why it is. Sometimes I like to buy like 500 forces and Resonator and just hit here like, nope, nope, nope. Oh, that's decent. Nope, nope. You know, I just stand here an hour just spamming fossil, trying to hit big. This was the best one so far. So I would like to get another Eventuality Rod, keep on spamming fossils, and try to break the 650, 670 that I have over here, and then recraft this one, and just keep on going this until I get like a really good weapon. Obviously, you want to have like the biggest weapon that you can get, and I saw already there are like some 1100 DPS staffs, and it's gonna be quite interesting to see this character hopefully being able to do all content, including the Uber bosses. This is my goal for this build. I want to do all content with this while having big AoE. Alright guys, path of building of the current stage is in the description below, and yeah guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.